Cuff him.
Finally, it took them long enough.
What's going on, everybody? So we're going to be starting off the series with Aurra Singh, and today we'll be going over her abilities, her relics, her Zetas, and her mods. That way you guys have a better idea of how much you want to invest in this character if you choose to. The purpose of this guide is to help you guys spend your resource materials more effectively without having to take every character to R7 or, you know, go crazy on mods. So let's take a look at her basic. It does have a 70% chance of stun for one turn, but the more important part about her basic is she gains 20% TM against debuffed enemies. The stun is nice, but I almost never rely on it because it's very inconsistent, and we don't mod her for potency. So her next ability, first special, Hustle, she gets crit chance up, offense up for 3 turns, which is great, and then her next attack deals 35% more damage. She also gains a bonus turn if she's stealth. That's a very important part about her kit. But you should always use Hustle going straight into her next special, Sniper Expertise. Sniper Expertise, there's not really much to say about it. It just hits hard, and that's pretty much it. And you really should only be using this after you use Hustle. It's kind of the only way you really get a lot of damage out of it. Her leadership is great. Bounty Hunters and Scoundrels gain 30% offense while they're stealth, and Bounty Hunters... attackers gain stealth for 2 turns at the start of the battle. Her contract's very easy, as you guys all know. You just do 10 abilities while buffed, and then her reward is you get counter chance 50%, bounty hunter allies recover 25% protection and TM upon an enemy death. So kind of similar to General Veers. Her unique is really important, guys. She has 40% crit damage, but it's doubled while she's stealth, so we really want to keep her in stealth. And she also gains 10% crit chance stacking every time she kills somebody. Really don't need to pay attention to that because once you get a relic, she has so much crit chance, a little bit unnecessary. And then her payout under other leads and her own, she gains even more offense, health steal, and anytime she uses a special, she gains stealth for 1 turn. That's something I feel like a lot of people are ignoring about her kit. That's really important. So even if you're not going to kill anybody, you should always use specials with her to keep her in stealth. Okay, so let's go over her first Zeta. It may not look like a lot at first, but you have to keep in mind, your entire team, while stealth, has 30% offense, or against that bonus turn, she gets double crit damage bonus from her unique. So this Zeta is actually really, really good, guys. Keeping your team in stealth really kind of keeps your team with all that offense bonus. And being stealth is a great counter towards Retribution and characters with counter chance. So I highly recommend this Zeta. It may not look like a lot, but it's actually doing a lot for your team. Her second Zeta, however, is probably the most useless Zeta in the entire game. As much as it pains me to say that, guys, it used to be great for the C-Pit and the Sith Raid, but it really isn't even required anymore. So I would just say don't do it. For those of you that have given her the Zeta, I'm sorry.
He's speaking from experience.
So let's move on to relics. So her relic amplifier upgrades her damage, her crit chance, and her crit damage. For her to be effective, I would say you want her to be at minimum relic 3. I would highly recommend you take her to relic 5. That's where you start to notice a lot of that damage output really start to increase, especially if you have her really well modded. And I'm going to give her maximum relic limit at relic 5 as well, guys. I would say anything past relic 5 isn't bad, but what you are going to notice is you're going to notice a huge spike in her damage, and at a lot of times it's going to feel very, very unnecessary. So again, minimum relic 3, I would recommend relic 5, and her maximum, I would put her limit at relic 5. Alright, next let's talk about her stats and mods. So she has a base speed of 167, which is pretty good. I typically like to keep Aurra around the 260 to 290 range in terms of speed, and we're going to want to use a crit damage and crit chance set on her for mod. I know some people have asked me about potency on her. Just don't do it. I know just get it out of your head. The stun on the basic is cool when it happens, but don't plan on it. If you take Aurra past Relic 5, you might want to consider replacing your crit chance set with a health set, because once you take her to Relic 5 and beyond, she starts to get a lot of more crit chance, where the crit chance set kind of becomes a little bit irrelevant. Alright, so let's go over some of her primaries and secondaries. The main secondary you really want to have on your mods other than speed is you really want to look for that offense percentage secondary. That's really what's going to ramp up a lot of your damage. For the circle, you're going to want to run protection or health. Either work. I think protection's better just because we can recover protection through her kit. You're going to want to have an offense cross, not a potency cross, offense cross. Forget the stun, guys. Just forget about it. So we're going to run that offense cross. Definitely want to have a crit damage triangle. And for my arrow, I actually have a offense primary arrow. I feel like most of you guys are going to want to run speed, but this is just a mod I haven't really been able to replace yet. But yeah, it works. So now I'm going to give you guys a quick test of what it looks like with a crit damage set versus an offense set. So we got 209 on Jedi Knight Anakin with a crit damage set. We're going to swap over to an offense set with nearly identical offense. That's the nice thing about Aurra's thing, though, guys, is you don't really need her that fast. There's a lot of ways for her to gain turn meter. So, you know, you're only looking for a crit damage set with about 100 speed or so, with that I think is pretty reasonable. So we're at 10,322. I'm going to quickly switch to an offense set that I have that is very, very close. I think we're only going to gain about 6 offense. So we're very close, guys. 10,328. So we're going to go ahead and slap that on her, and I want to show you guys the difference between offense and crit damage on Aurra. So now we'll take a look at the damage with an offense set on her using the same abilities against the same character. So we hit 189k. So it's 20k less, not a whole lot, you're looking at about 10%, but crit damage is the way to go. So we'll look at some of the bounty hunter teams I like to use consistently in GAC with Aurra. And if you notice, I really only use her under her own lead. She doesn't perform as well under other bounty hunter leads because she doesn't have an AoE and really doesn't debuff a whole lot. That's the only team I really use in 3v3 with her. It's very consistent. I like it a lot. But typically, guys, you're going to want to keep her with at least Grief and sometimes Bosk for stronger teams. But eventually, once you get enough bounty hunters geared up, you're going to split your Bosk and Grief for 2 different teams.
You signed on to kill Jedi. Well, this is how it's done.
And lastly, we're going to close out this episode with some gameplay. So this is some old GAC footage that I pulled. I think Darth Revan is one of my favorite teams to kill with bounty hunters. If they're slow enough and your Bosk and Grief beat them, Aurra Sing makes this counter very, very easy to do. But obviously, if you're going against some of the faster DRs, then you're going to want to use Jango Fett. But that's the nice thing, guys, about Aurra, is like I said, you don't really need to mod her with a whole lot of speed. She is getting called to assist from Grief, Bosk, Mando, and if you're running Dengar on the team, then Dengar can sometimes call her to assist, so she's always gaining a lot of turn meter with that basic. As long as you're going up against debuffed enemies, you really don't have to worry about a whole lot of speed on her. You know, and then once you get that contract completed, you're gaining speed every time you kill somebody. And the more important part about this team is just, you know, learning that turn order. We'll go over these counters and teams in separate videos, but I just wanted to show you guys just some brief gameplay as well, just to kind of see what she looks like in action when she's properly modded, you know, and she's, you know, on the right team with the right bounty hunters. One of the other things I wanted to mention is once you practice with her lead enough times, it's definitely a really good lead just for full banners, because being in stealth and being able to choose when to come out of it gives you a really nice controlled environment against your opponent. Alright, and lastly, here's some 3v3 gameplay. I love going after Hux with Aurra just because you can dispel that advantage on him, allowing your team to gain turn meter, and then on top of that, since you're all stealth, you're not getting countered. So Hux, Red, and Stormtrooper are such a good team in 3v3s, and this is one of my favorite counters to go up against them. But, you know, this team takes out so many other different teams. Fin Poe, Bam, IG Quill. And I wanted to review those teams one more time with you guys. The team at the very bottom, the False Taunt. I love using this team. It's pretty much just stealth 4 characters, and then you got one character that's pretty much exposed, and your opponent can really only attack them. So sometimes I'll use Aurra with Nest and Grief and 2 other bounty hunter attackers. But that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope this really helped you with learning how to spend your resources effectively if you want to invest in Aurra Sing. And let's do a quick recap. So, I recommend the Leadership Zeta. Do not do her Sniper Expertise Zeta. You want to take her to minimum Relic 3. I recommend Relic 5, and I would say don't go past Relic 5 unless you want to be a big jerk with a lot of damage. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.
Enough talk. Time to see what you're made of, kid.